The massive sun before Uzu and Avon was wrapped by gigantic mutated creatures. They showed no fear of the scorching heat from the solar surface. Instead, they plunged their tentacles into the sun like parasites, greedily draining its energy. Avon stared toward the blazing star and muttered grimly, "Kid, we're too late." Uzu's face turned dark and heavy. That parasitized sun, there was no mistaking it, it was Earth's sun. The coordinates couldn't be wrong. Avon glanced around, frowning. "Wait, are you saying this planet is Earth?" The two of them were standing on a silvery white sphere, lifeless and barren. Uzu murmured, "No, the size doesn't match. Earth isn't this small." Avon grew more confused. "Then where are we? I don't see Earth anywhere nearby." Uzu scooped up a handful of dust, examining it carefully. "This kind of sand couldn't form on Earth. It's lunar dust." Then, as if struck by realization, his eyes widened. "The moon. Right, laurel tree." In the next instant, Uzu shot forward, leaving behind a golden streak of light. At a desolate ruin, withered roots crawled between shattered rocks. Uzu descended, gazing down from above. At the center lay what was once a magnificent tree, now nothing but charred remains and brittle roots half buried in ash. Avon floated beside him and muttered, "This tree's been burned all the way to its core." Uzu extended his hand, gathering spiritual energy. The remaining roots lifted slowly from the ground. "I'll take you into the life space," he murmured softly. "One day, I'll find a way to revive you." The roots vanished into a pocket of shimmering energy Uzu summoned open. But then, a sudden thought struck him. His expression turned sinister, eyes flickering with blood-red veins. Avon sensed the change and felt a chill run down his spine. "Hey kid, what's wrong with you?" Uzu's hair shadowed his face as he spoke in a low, icy tone. "Let's go." Avon blinked. "Go? Go where?" "To Mercury," Uzu replied coldly. When they arrived, the planet had already been split in half, streams of vapor and water coiling around the remaining core. Avon's voice trembled. "This place? It's completely destroyed." Uzu shot off again. "Venus, its surface torn open by a massive hole in the center. Saturn, shattered, only fragments remained. Mars, its once crimson form now missing an entire hemisphere." Uzu hovered in silence amid the ruins of the solar system. Avon muttered bitterly, "Every planet cleaved in half. That's exactly the great Emperor's style." Then, suddenly Avon bumped into the back of Uzu's head. "Hey! What the hell?" he yelped, rubbing his forehead. "Don't stop out of nowhere like that, my head hurts." But as he looked up, his complaint died in his throat. His eyes went wide in disbelief. Before them stretched an endless graveyard, countless corpses of otherworldly beasts floating in the void. Wrecked warships drifted among the bodies, their hulls shattered and burned. Avon's voice trembled. "Is this a mass grave?" He gazed upon the scene, horrified. Just how many beings had to die to create something like this? A suffocating aura of death hung over everything. The corpses of countless beasts were piled high like mountains, their lifeless eyes still wide open. The sight struck Uzu like a hammer. His expression darkened further, until suddenly, as if sensing something, he froze. Uzu turned his head sharply, eyes widening as a spark of realization flashed across them. "I can feel traces of life energy." Before him stood a colossal insect nest, split cleanly in half. Not far from it, a massive insected beast lay collapsed within the wreckage, its breaths faint and weak. Uzu's voice trembled slightly as he called out, "Insect Queen." The creature lifted its head, staring blankly at Uzu, whose current form resembled an angel. A look of confusion crossed her battered face. "Do I know anyone who looks like that?" she wondered. Her body quivered as she muttered weakly, "But that spiritual aura. It feels just like Master's." Uzu didn't waste a moment. He raised his hand, and streams of shimmering life essence poured forth, wrapping around her broken form. Slowly, the torn carapace and shredded wings began to mend. After a while, the insect queen's wounds closed, and her breathing steadied. She finally opened her eyes fully. Yu Ziyu immediately pressed her, his voice urgent. Where is the great emperor? What about Earth, and Nine Tails and the others? The insect queen blinked, memories flooding back. The great emperor went to Earth. Under Nine Tails' command, all of us. Her tone grew shaky as she continued. All the beasts from the 8 great planets fought back with everything we had. She paused, her voice dropping to a sorrowful whisper. But it only lasted for a moment. Yu Ziyu's expression darkened, an ominous premonition gripped his heart. The insect queen's tone trembled as she went on. We were completely defeated. All 10 of the great beasts have been slain. Yu Ziyu said nothing. His silence was terrifyingly calm, too calm. He simply listened. The insect queen's body shuddered as she spoke of the final moments. After that battle, the great emperor took Earth away. I still remember that moment clearly. His next target was Azure Blue Star. Yu Ziyu waved his hand silently. The remains of the insect nest vanished, pulled into his life space. Go and rest there, he said coldly. When the insect queen disappeared, Yu Ziyu remained frozen in place, his body trembling faintly. The air around him thickened as an overwhelming aura began to rise. The insect queen, even within the life space, could still feel it, that suffocating pressure. Master, she whispered in fear. Yu Ziyu clenched his fist. In the next instant, terrifying spiritual power exploded from his body like a supernova. Great Emperor, I'll find you. And I'll make you pay. Fury blazed in his golden eyes as he roared through clenched teeth. That damned bastard. Sensing his unleashed energy, the mutated creatures latched onto the sun began to stir violently. In an instant, they writhed and twisted, breaking free from the solar surface. The burning parasites fused together midair, forming a single colossal abomination that hurtled straight toward Yu Ziyu. Avon's face turned pale. Kid! Watch out! He shouted. Boom! The monstrous creature crashed down upon Yu Ziyu, sending shockwaves through the void. Smoke and light flared in every direction. From the sun's blazing surface, countless other parasitic beasts lifted their heads, their golden eyes gleaming with murderous intensity, each one radiating a deadly hunger that shook the heavens.